Woo, it's tailgate time. Woo, let the explosion begin. The Staffing World Tailgate, Day 3. Ashley, here we go again.
What's up? Hey, Toby, how's it going?
I'm good, Ashley. How are you?
I'm doing great. It's Wednesday. Although Richard tried to bust my bubble earlier saying, this time next week, the event's going to be almost over. And I was like, man, now I'm sad.
Yeah. We're starting a little earlier this year. So yeah, we'll be in the home stretch at this time next week.
I love it. Well, hey, Toby, thank you for coming on, kicking it off on day 3 here. I'm so pumped up to talk to you about some good stuff here. So let's just deep dive into, before we go into the Staffing World Fun, this year, 2025. Break it down for us, some of the stuff that's going on. Man.
Well, I tell you what, it's been a challenging year for everybody in staffing and in all business. The economy's been a little bit crazy. Government's been a little bit crazy, but I think everybody's persevering and looking for the end of the doldrums and brighter lights ahead in 2026.
So true. And you know what? It's kind of funny, both of you. Like 2025 was going to be that year. That year it's going to be rocking and rolling. It didn't end up that way. So hopefully 2026 is a little bit different.
Yeah, there's so much uncertainty. I mean, on all levels. And it's from our policymakers, it's the economy, it's our clients. It's just this level of uncertainty that we've got to get over. And we're starting to see the tick up and the things picking up a little bit that makes us all cautiously optimistic that as things start to settle down, and we just need certainty so we know how to plan, then people will plan and start moving forward. And we're starting to see signs of that, which is certainly encouraging.
Yeah. And you know what? Something you talked about before, maybe you can elaborate a little quick. When a new president comes in, it's always that year right afterwards, that year they take office. It's an up and down year, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, this is a unique situation where, for only the second time ever, you've had a president that has come back into office after being out for 4 years. And so, when President Trump started his second term, he was a new president, but he wasn't really a new president. And he had a lot of ideas of what he wanted to do. He basically had 4 years under his belt of doing it already. And so it was kind of you started off everything with uncertainty. How is this going to play out? Because we hadn't seen this since, the late 1800s. And it started off like that, and it's kind of steamrolled and been like that for the first, 9 months now of the year. But hopefully we're starting to see things settle down a little bit, and we'll straighten out going forward.
So true. Ashley, what do you see on your side?
2026 is our year, I think. This is what we've been talking about, across conferences and roundtables, and anytime I can bend someone's ear and get them to answer some questions, it's, this is the time to plan. This is the time to build. So, obviously I'm on the tech side. So, what you do now and how you embrace AI and technology and all these new tools and get your internal team upskilled to use them appropriately, that's going to set the foundation for a killer 2026. And then everything else.
Absolutely. I mean, Ashley, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but we are hearing from members that really get it, that this is when they're adding staff. This is when they are adding training and ramping up and getting ready, because, as we all know, it's not like we get a 3-month advanced preview and saying, hey, come May, that's when things are really going to pick up. So you want your people in place ready to go, because when you get that call from a client who, for whatever reason, is like, you know what, I need 300 people next week, you've got the people in place ready to go. And that's why it's so important now to be doing these things, to put your infrastructure in place to be ready to take advantage of that.
100%. I always say this: proactive. Don't be reactive. Come on, guys.
Absolutely.
So are you speaking to Toby at the Staffing World?
Yeah, so we'll give the legal and legislative update to the annual membership meeting, which is Tuesday morning, right before the keynote of the day. And then I'll be moderating a really interesting panel about the role that government relations plays in business, and how companies can become more involved. We have the trade association's primary role is legal and legislative advocacy. And it's what we do here and what we've been doing for over 50 years, I think really, really well. but we only do it as well as the members that help us get that message out, because they're the ones that really are putting the effort in. They're the ones that are developing the stories and finding, these life-changing jobs for people. And so having that kind of partnership with our members to help tell their stories is super important when we're on Capitol Hill or in state capitals telling our story. And so I think that session's going to be really interesting, and one that hopefully a lot of people will go back home and say, you know what, on whatever level we can, we need to be more involved in the advocacy for the industry.
I can't wait for that. Do you know the time and date? So tell the audience to get there.
It's going to be Wednesday, October 8th,
Okay.
45 to 12:30.
Ooh, perfect time. Get your lunch and get ready to go. Yeah.
That's right.
And you know what, Toby? Every time you have any presentation like that, it's so informative. I'm going to tell you what, everybody I talk to behind the scenes, and Ashley probably agrees too, you learn so much from you about, because, I mean, if you're in California, I hate to say it, New Jersey or Chicago right now, there's a lot going on, Illinois, there's a lot going on right there. So you bring the insights to give them hope.
Well, thank you. I mean, we've got, it's a good and bad thing, right? There's just, I think one of the things that we consistently see is, the federal government is doing so many different things. They don't spend a lot of time focusing specifically on staffing, which is a good thing. But what happens then is it leaves the state governments open to chart their own course. And you've got some states that kind of leave us alone, and other states like the Californias, New York, Illinois, that really dive in there. And there's a lot of things going on, and it seems like every year it just gets more and more.
I love that ringtone. Is that Back in Black?
That's my daughter calling from college, probably, needing money or something. So we'll call her back after.
Put her on live. Just put her on live. Here we go.
The best timing.
Yeah, I love the ringtone. I was like, just like when he was talking, I was like, oh, look at this rock and roll ringtone.
Jam break.
She's a beauty.
I love it. So how many staffing worlds have you been to, Toby?
So this will be my 22nd staffing world. I've been to ASA for 23 years. And when I got here, it was right in the middle of a staffing world, actually, when I started. So this will be number 22 for me.
Wow.
How about the years? Can you just break it down for a minute, like from the 22 years to now, how it evolved?
I mean, it's, when we first started, or when I first started, it was 1,000 people, 1,200 people, good crowds, much smaller exhibit hall. Now we've gotten to the place where there are only so many hotels we can go to because of the amount of space we need for our industry suppliers and the amount of people that we bring to the conference. And, the keynote speakers that we have, we've got Katie Ledecky kicking everything off on Monday afternoon.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, how amazing is that? In fact, my daughter, who's a swimmer and a swim coach over the summer, is probably calling to tell me that I need to get her down to Orlando on Monday so she can meet Katie. But the keynote speakers and the sessions that we continue to put together and really are cutting edge. It's just amazing to watch and see how this conference has evolved over the years.
They do. And Ashley will agree on this. The keynote and the closing are so inspiring. I'm going to tell you what, from Magic Johnson, Coach K, and now Katie, what do you think, Ashley? Once you leave that presentation, you got like a pep in your step, I always say, or you're like so inspired to be better.
Yeah, it's the best part. And I love the fact that, personally, they're both women. I'm going to Thrive, which is super cool. And I love seeing that evolution in our industry. You talk about 22 years, it's a lot's changed from technology to culture, everything. But I think the thing that stays the same, and even with the emergence of AI, is that human touch, right? That's what we continue to focus on in our space, and just making sure that we're not losing that magic.
And really, Ashley, you just hit it. I mean, I think that people love the keynotes and the closing session, and Carla Harris is going to be fantastic. And Thrive Live is relatively new, and that's obviously gone gangbusters. But all of it revolves around networking and being in touch with people and being able to see your colleagues and even the folks that, maybe your competitors that you've worked against or with throughout the year. You see them in person. I mean, I remember when we came back to Denver, which was 21, it was the year after COVID. And there was a kind of a late outbreak of a COVID right before the conference. But the joy of people being there, you could literally just feel throughout the whole conference, because it was just being together with each other and being able to, get a cocktail, have a coffee, sit down and drink, talk about things. There's nothing like it, and nothing beats it. And these sessions are great, and the Zoom meetings are fantastic. But at the end of the day, I think we all really, especially in this business, which is so person-based, we really just want to get together and be able to be in person and talk to each other. And that's one of the great things about Staffing World.
Oh, it's got to be the mecca of all conferences. I'm going to tell you what, Toby, I've been to like 6 or 7 of them. Ashley's been to numerous ones too. And it's just so much fun. The colleagues you meet, you have lifetime friends that I hang out with, don't even talk about staffing and other things.
Yeah.
And getting back to competition, I've seen competitors, they drink together, even they're doing 2 different ATSs. They're sitting at the bar, having a drink, laughing and joking. So it's like, there's enough business for everybody. They understand.
Exactly right. And they get to just spend time together and learn about the other person. And then, a lot of times what happens is, during the year, they end up crossing paths again, and they've already made that connection. And it's something they can, kind of go through. And as you said, become almost lifelong friends, which is great.
All right, Toby. So I'm going to put you on a spot here. 22 years at Staffing World. Is there a couple moments that you just say, wow, out of your 22 years that you remember all the time?
Magic Johnson. I remember Magic Johnson. I was working, we were scanning badges and trying to keep people from getting in too early. And it was probably, a little bit hyperbole, but it was reminding me of like when people in the 60s talk about the Beatles. I mean, we were literally pushing people back from the doors because they wanted to get in there so badly to see him. And that was fantastic. And Denver in 2021, right after COVID, coming back together for the first time, because we'd done a virtual staffing law that spring. So this is our first in-person conference. And just the joy that everybody had of being together again was it was phenomenal. And I will always remember that.
Magic Johnson. Well, this crowd behind me, Toby, they're screaming Staffing World. They're trying to get in now. They're trying to push me. So we got to wait till next week. Sunday Thrive starts. I'm like, they're even screaming your name, Toby. They're like, Toby. They can't wait for your presentation either, brother. But I got to tell you what, you can still register for Staffing World, right? Correct me or not?
Absolutely. You can register on site. You can register online up till Friday afternoon. And then on site, we'll be taking reservations and our registrations and lots of time to get in and get involved with a great program.
I love it. Before we get out of here, we're going to give a shout out to our prime sponsor here, Advanced Partners. They put the FUN in funding. If you need funding, you need to call Advanced Partners. Sorry, Toby, thank you so much, man. Any more? Do you just want to give a shout out to anybody out there before we get out of here, man?
Well, I want to give a shout out to, our industry for, really kind of staying the course, finding jobs for people, our members that are doing great work. I want to give a shout out to you guys for this platform and for supporting our industry, because the things that you guys do allow us to do things and programs for our members, which makes the industry better as a whole. So thank you guys for doing this and for all your support throughout the year.
100%, man. I love you. I love everybody at ASA. Like I always say, I'm in love with staffing, Ashley, by the way.
Once you're in, you're in. I've been in it for 17 years. It's, it's home.
There you go.
It is. And one other thing, if you go to Staffing World one time, which the mixer's coming up at 1:00, I'm hosting with first timers, you're going to go every year. Trust me, you will not miss another year. Am I right, Toby?
Absolutely. We've got lots of people that have been, look, Ed Lenz has been to, I think, over 37 Staffing Worlds. So, it gets in your blood. You don't want to miss it. It's ultimate FOMO.
All right. At the end, I don't know if you noticed this, but we're going to do the Staffing World wave on 3. We're going to do this on 3 and go, woo, of course. You ready?
Ready.
1, 2, 3. Woo! Woo! Yes, the Staffing World wave. We'll see you next week. Staffing World in the Big O in Orlando. Hey, Toby, take care, buddy. I'll see you next week.
Thank you, Richard. Thank you, Ashley. See you soon.
See you soon.